Alright, in these videos, I'm going to teach you about the graph for sine, cos, and tangent. And in this video, actually, I will cover almost everything you will need to know for math and MF, means the additional math, and the modern math means the normal math. I will cover everything you need to know about sine, cos, and tangent, how the graph look like, and how the graph will actually change. Alright, so yeah, I will try to cover as many as possible from basic to advanced about the graph thing. So I think the first half of this video is basically for the modern math student, and the second half, the last half, is actually for the MF student. So I will discuss the graph for sine and cos first, then we'll go to the tangent. Alright, when we say about graph for sine, you just remember something to do is s. So let's say I will have a x-axis and y-axis, and I'm going to sketch y equals to sine x. So sine graph will look like this. It's something look like s. Alright, and then something you will need to know is they look like s, look like this. And then actually, the sine graph is continuous until infinity. The sine graph can keep on continue until infinity. But then in math, normally they will stop at 360. Okay, so if the graph is stopped in the 360, something I want you to pay attention is, you always can easily divide the graph into 4 different parts. What do I mean by 4 different parts? Is something like this. Is this 360, right? I divide half. It will be 180. 180. And then I divide half again. It will be 90. And then I divide half again. It will be 270. And then the last one is 360. Okay, so remember, so if you have the sine graph and cos graph, or even tangent, you always divide like this: 90, 180, 270, and 360. And of course, if you divide like this, you do have some meaning. And of course, the first one is 0. Okay, so the first one is, you have to understand sine 90 actually will give you the maximum value. For sine graph and cos graph, the maximum value will be 1 and minimum value will be -1. This is fixed already. Unless you have the equation with the different amplitudes. But then in this case, this is y equals to sine x, which I call it the standard sine graph. So your maximum will be 1. Your minimum will be -1. This is your minimum. So your minimum is at 270. For sine graph, your minimum is at 270. So you will get -1. Your maximum will at 90, so you will get 1. Okay, so all this value means what? Means if you have your calculator, you can try to type sine 90, and your calculator will tell you it's 1, because this is y equals to sine x, isn't it? This is x value. When x is 90, you imagine sine x. Imagine this is sine x. If your x is 90, you should get 1. That's why you will get 1. If you try to type sine 270, you see sine 270 over here, you will get -1. So your calculator actually will tell you will get -1. But something very interesting is something the calculator will not tell you is about 0. If the question asks you about sine x is equal to 0, and then the question asks you to find the x, the answer can be infinity. So normally the question will say the x is between 0 to 360. So you have 3 answers for x. Because if you get 0, this one you will get 0, 180 you will get 0, 370 you will get 0. So you have 3 answers: 0, 180, and 360. And 360. That means sine 0 will give you 0. Sine 180 will give you 0. And sine 360 will give you 0 also. This is what I mean when sine x equals 0, you will have 3 different angles. This is the meanings of it actually is like this. But 0, you have 0. 180, the graph actually will touch at 0 because the y is 0. Do you see that? And 360 is actually at 0. Okay, this is something very important for modern math student, because a lot of time when you solve this kind of question, the question actually will love to ask like this, and then it will give you ABC. One of the most common mistake is a lot of students will see the shape is correct, and then but then here they put 180, and a lot of students will think this is correct, then they will pick this one. Then end up they got the whole question wrong, because the one cycle must be 360. Okay, remember for sine graph, one cycle must be 360. Okay, so that means whenever if I sketch the graph, one cycle must be 360. And then you can divide it into 90, 180, 270, and 360. But you have to understand one cycle is 360. Unless you are an MF student, yeah, you will learn something which is more than one cycle. Okay, so, okay, before I go any further, I just want to mention something. Yeah, it might or might not come out in your exam, but because right now the SPM love about the KPAT or the hot questions, so I just want to mention something extra. Okay, so before I mention, okay, let me erase all this information, because I will need some space for it. Okay, how about 0.5? Or 0.5, or you can call it half 0.5. So whenever 0.5 here, over here you will touch at 30 degree, because you know sine 30 is equal to 0.5. Okay, this is easy. However, if I continue over here, this value over here will be sine 180 minus 30, which is sine 150. That's mean if you use your calculator, you type sine 150, the calculator will tell you it's 0.5 as well. No angle, it's just the value 0.5. Alright, so this is something extra. If suddenly the exam says 0.5 they change into the K, and then they ask you what is the angle, you have to remember sine 30 equals to 0.5. This is something quite important for MF student, but if you are modern math student, I think it's good to know it also. Okay, so example. Okay, how about negative 0.5? If negative 0.5, something similar will happen. You will touch two value over here, one value and two value. So how do I know what is this value? Okay, the first one, this one will be sine 180 plus 30 degree. So basically it is sine 210. So the first one, this is 210. And the last one, this one will be sine 360 minus 30 degree. So it will be sine 330 degree. So this one is sine 330. And you want to prove is my answer correct or not? You can just type the calculator. Sine 210 calculator will tell you negative 0.5. Sine 330 calculator will tell you negative 0.5. Okay, but then how do I remember all this? Actually, it's quite simple, because we will learn something like this in MF. It's something look like this, because we learn about 4 different quadrants. This is from 0 to 90, 90 to 180, 180 to 270, 270 to 360. Because the first quadrant is 0, second quadrant is 180 minus angle. First one is not 0, this is angle. Second one is 180 minus angle. Third one is 180 plus angle. The last one is 360 minus angle. And this one somehow is going to help me a lot. Just like the case just now about 0.5. If the first one I call 30 degree, the second quadrant will be 180 minus 30, which is 150. And the third one will be 180 plus 30, which is 210. And the last one is 360 minus 30, which is 330. That means, because we learn about something like add sugar to coffee, isn't it? All positive, sine positive, tangent positive, cos positive, add sugar to coffee. Alright, so that means in the first two quadrants, sine will get positive. In the last two quadrants, sine actually will get negative. Over here, they will get negative. That means, if I say sine x equals to 0.5, which is positive value, which is the positive value, then I know my x basically will be 30 and 150. If I say sine x is equals to negative 0.5, my x value basically is 210 and 330. Okay, if you can remember all this, you can easily understand how actually I get all this value here. You see, 30, 150, 210 and 330. This is how I get from this quadrant thing. You see the second one, I use 180 minus angle, which is minus 30. The third one, I use 180 plus 30. You see 180 plus angle. And the last one, I use 360 minus the angle. Alright, this is how I understand about all the graph about sine. Okay, so I'm going to move on to cos. Cos is very similar to sine, but of course all the value will be different, but then it's very similar. Why I say very similar? If let's say I sketch the sine graph is going to look like this, isn't it? Continue until infinity. Okay, cos is something like this. Cos is start from here to here. That means they adjust the 90 degree from the sine graph. Imagine your y-axis from here actually move from here. But then the graph is actually the same. Same with the sine graph. So cos is actually, because sine graph is n over here 360, isn't it? But then cos, because it takes from the 90 here, and then it will n over here. This is how the cos graph will look like. It look like something like U, or some student might call it W. Okay, but then this is just something extra. If you want to understand why I will say this one, maybe I will explain later. But then now I just want to show you the normal cos graph. Cos is always start from 1, and then you will have something look like this. So one cycle is 360, fixed already, and then same thing, he will divide into 4 different parts: 180, 270, 90. Alright, and then 0. Just now I say for cos graph, this is y-axis, this is x-axis, and this graph is called y equals to cos x, which is a standard cos graph. So for cos graph and sine graph, I say the maximum value will be 1. Minimum value will be -1. Okay, this one is the minimum value. Okay, so same thing, one cycle is 360, so you see from 0 to 360. Alright, and then the maximum is 1, but over here, you have two values, basically you will get 1, which is cos 0, you will get 1, and cos 360, you will get 1. That means if I ask you cos x is get 1, what is your x value, mean what's your angle? You should say it's 0 and 360. Okay, this is sometimes the exam love to ask like this. Okay, then after that, this is one thing important, definitely. The second one, in cos graph, 90 and 270 you will get 0 value. That means cos 90 you get 0, and cos 270 degree you get 0. So if I ask you cos x will get 0, what is your x value? Oh no, 0 have no degree. It will be 90 degree and 270 degree, because this is the angle x. Alright, so this is something very important about cos graph. And cos graph only have one value for minimum, which is cos 180. Because cos 180 is the only value you will get negative, which is negative 1. I mean over here. So therefore, if I say cos x equals to negative 1, you should know x basically equals to 180. Okay? This is something I hope you can understand. Somehow it will help you. You should understand all this value. Okay? Yeah, this is nothing very special about cos graph. Okay? It's just very similar to sine graph because you have maximum and minimum is 1, maximum is 1, minimum is negative 1, and then you divide you will divide the cos graph into 4 different parts. Okay? Okay. And okay, then how about half? How about 0.5? For cos graph, okay, in order to do 0.5 thing, let me erase all this because I will need some space for it. Okay, for cos graph is 0.5. Basically, they will touch at 60 degree because cos 60 degree. 60 is equal to 0.5. However, another value is over here. This is the last quadrant. Just now I said last quadrant is 360 minus delta, right? So this is last quadrant. So it will be cos 360 minus 60. So therefore, cos 300, you will get 0.5 also. Okay, if the question asks about 0.5. So therefore, if I ask you about cos x equals to 0.5, at least you should know two answers. One, it will be 60. The other one will be 300. Okay, what if negative 0.5? It's the same thing. If negative 0.5, this one in the second quadrant. Second quadrant I just mentioned is 180 minus delta, isn't it? So this is cos 180 minus 60 degree. So it will be cos 120. So cos 120, you will get negative 0.5. And then continue, move on to the third quadrant. Third quadrant we know is 180 plus delta, isn't it? So therefore, it will be cos 180 plus 60 degree. Then which is cos 240. So you will get negative 0.5 also. So if I ask you cos x, you'll get negative 0.5. You should know your x basically is 120 and 240. 120 and 240. Okay, this is something to do with 0.5. I'm not sure whether SPM exam will ask about this one or not. But then, yeah, I just think this might be something important for you. So I just mention it. Okay. Yeah, before I move on, actually I find out something quite interesting and I just want to share with you because I think somehow it's going to help you a little bit. Okay. Because actually we learned about the add sugar to coffee. Okay, the add sugar to coffee actually tell us something about cos. A means all will get positive. A is from 0 to 90, all will get positive. So therefore, you find out here is positive. From 0 to 90, the cos graph actually at positive zone. From 90 to 180, only sine will get positive. So therefore, cos will get negative. So therefore, you find out after 90 degree, sine actually go into a negative. 90 to 180, sine is negative. And then 180 to 270, only tangent positive, that means cos is negative also. So therefore, 180 to 270, cos is negative. And then the last one, 270 to 360, cos is positive. So cos come back to positive. Okay, this is something somehow actually helped me to actually remember about the cos graph. Because I know 0 to 90, cos is positive. 90 to 180, cos is negative. 180 to 270, cos is negative. And for 270 to 360, cos is positive. Okay, same thing happened to sine. So let's say I sketch about sine graph. This one is 90 to 180, and then 270, and then 360. You find out all sine, add sugar to coffee. That means first quadrant, sine will get positive. Second quadrant, sine will get positive. Third quadrant, only tangent positive means sine is negative. Last quadrant, only cos positive means sine is negative also. So yeah, this one somehow might help you to remember about the angle thing, because just remember sine graph and cos graph always divide. One cycle is 360. Okay, and then the positive negative will be slightly different. Okay, so yeah, if you watch until here, please make sure you practice how to draw sine graph and cos graph. It's going to help you a lot. Okay, if you know how to sketch it. Okay, so let me move on to tangent. Okay, for tangent, it's a bit different. Yeah, tangent is the only one do not have maximum or minimum value. Like just now, the graph maximum is 1, minimum is -1. But in tangent do not have maximum. But tangent have something very special, which is the two line. The tangent graph will never touch it, which is 90 degree and 270 degree. Tangent can never touch these two lines, because if you try to use your calculator, you try to type tangent 90, calculator will tell you it's math error. You try to type tangent 270, calculator will tell you it's math error also. Because the tangent graph cannot touch 90 and 270. Therefore, if you have some question like this, tangent x equals to maybe 1/0. 1/0 is math error. So you know x basically equals to 90 degree and 270 degree. Because for tangent, you will never touch 90 and 270. But then tangent, I can still do the same thing, divide it into 360. So tangent is something like this. The graph from zero go to positive, very close to 90, but it will never touch 90. It will get closer and closer to 90 until infinity. Then come out from bottom, very close 90 but never touch 90, passing through 180 and very very close to 270, but it will never touch 270 until infinity, and then come out from bottom, very close to 270 and stop at 360. Okay, this is how the tangent graph will look like. So therefore, if you learn about add sugar to coffee, you will know in the first quadrant 0 to 90, tangent will get positive. And second quadrant 90 to 180, tangent get negative. The graph is going negative zone, right? Below x-axis we call negative. Third quadrant tangent positive, right? 180 to 270 is positive. And last quadrant tangent is negative. Okay. But then for tangent, just now I said sine and cos, one cycle is 360. But then for tangent, one cycle is 180. Because if you see the graph carefully, after 180 is actually repeat the first one. So you can find out actually this one, I call it 1, this one I call it 2. You can find out the second diagram actually is duplicate the first diagram. So that means their one cycle over here is only 180. The second 180 here is just duplicate the first one. So for tangent, it's very special. We will call it one cycle basically is 180. Okay, because actually this is how they do the duplicate thing. Okay, so if you understand, I will need to undo and I want to explain something else also. Okay, for tangent, the only value you can remember is 45 degree, which is 1. Whenever tangent 45, you will get 1. So 45 you will get 1. And the second one, you will get 1 is over here. So what is this angle? This is third quadrant, right? Third quadrant we know is 180 plus angle. So you just imagine tangent 180 plus 45, which is tangent 225. You'll get 1 also. So the value over there, oops, okay, the power saving thing. how to make it go away? Okay, go away. So this angle will be 225. Mean actually divide both of is the midpoint of 180 and 270. Alright. And then for tangent of -1, which is something to do with 45 also, over here, this is second quadrant, right? Second quadrant is 180 minus angle. So which is 180 minus 45 is 135. You'll get -1. And the last one is the fourth quadrant. The fourth quadrant is 360 minus angle, isn't it? So it will be tangent 360 minus 45 is 315. So you get -1 also. So just in case the modern math just love to come out a lots of KBAT question, this is the only value you have to remember about tangent. However, we know tangent you have 3 0 also. Do you find out that? So if I ask you about tangent x equals to 0, you should tell me x equals to 0, 180 and 360, because these three value tangent actually will get 0. Okay, yeah, this is all about the graph thing, and yes, about sine, cos and tangent for modern math. So just let me actually do a, okay, so I'm going to erase everything. If you need this, you just watch this again. So I'm going to erase this one, and then I'm going to do a quick summary for modern math student. Then I can move on further a bit to more advanced of the graph thingy. Yeah, and I just try to make this video not too long. Okay, so if I do y equals to sine x, okay, the graph will look like the S, but the S actually is flipped like this. Okay, the last one is 360, middle one is 180, because one cycle is 360, this is 90, this is 270, maximum will be 1, minimum will be -1. And then this is y, and this is x. Okay, this is y equals to sine x. If I say about y, okay, let me use other color, just not to confuse you. Okay, if I say y equals to cos x, you'll get something very similar, but then just slightly different a little bit. Maximum will be, one cycle is 360, and then going to divide into 4 parts, which is 90, 180, 270, and then maximum will be 1, minimum will be -1. Okay, so yes, this is x-axis and this is y-axis, so this is cos graph. Just remember this. And last one will be tangent. So y equals to tangent x. So yes, you have something. Tangent is the only one very special. You have two lines, you can never touch it, which is 90 degree and 270 degree. So the tangent graph, this is y, this is x. Tangent graph will from 0 go positive infinity, come out from bottom infinity, go passing through 180, go to the positive infinity, come out from bottom and stop at 360, and this is 180. Okay, this is how the tangent graph will look like. Okay, if you want to double check your thing, you just need to remember about this one: add sugar to coffee. That's mean for this one, sine you will get positive in first and second quadrant, so positive. For cos you will get positive in first and last quadrant, and tangent you will get positive in first and third. Okay, so the rest basically you will get negative. Okay, this is something, a quick summary about the sine, cos and tangent standard graph. Alright, then I'm going to move a little bit further for math student, but before I move a little bit further, I think the math student might need to actually stay for a while, because this one might come out in KBAT question. Yeah, if you have time, just like watch finish this video. I think it's going to benefit you somehow. But then I'm going to erase all this. Yeah, because I just want you to fully understand about the graph thing. It's a lot of information and a lot of things you will need to remember. I'm sorry about that, but then yeah, there's no other way you can solve it. Okay. Now, since the angle thing you already understand, so I will skip the angle thing, but then I will tell you about the pattern. So first, what if you see y equals to negative sine x? Negative sine x means what? Okay, so let me sketch about positive sine x first, then you can compare. So the positive sine x will look like this. If I have the negative sine x, that means my positive zone, this one, my positive zone, will go to negative. And my negative zone will go to positive. This is my graph, y equals to negative sine x. That means whatever in the positive will go into negative. Whatever in the negative will go into positive. This is what happens if you have negative. Okay. What if I have modulus sine x? Modulus sine x means what? Whatever in the positive will remain positive, but whatever in the negative will flip to the positive. So that means my sine graph will look like this. Means this one negative one actually flip over to become like this. This one is y equals to modulus x. If y equals to negative modulus sine x, if you have the negative and modulus, means everything positive will become negative. So that means your graph basically will look like this. Correct or not? Because negative modulus means whatever value you get into here is just the negative. So this is your x, this is your y, and your graph will look like this. Definitely the angle will never change. This is 90, this is 180, this is 360. And then this one will be 90 degree, this one will be 270 degree. The angle is always remain the same. But you just need to understand what happens if you have the negative and what happens if you have the modulus. Because it somehow is quite important to actually know about this one. Okay. Of course, same thing can happen to cos and tangent. So just let me demonstrate the cos and tangent for you quickly. So same thing, if I have cos, so let's say y equals to cos x. I just sketch a pattern. The pattern will look like this. So if y equals to negative cos x, that means positive will go into negative, negative will go into positive. Your graph will look like this. You find out actually it's the reflection of this one. So if you have the y equals to modulus cos x, that means whatever in the negative zone, here, actually it will flip to the positive. So therefore, you will have something look like this. Okay, this is what happened. So same thing, if you have y equals to negative modulus cos x, it's just a reflection of this one. So your graph basically will look like this. Okay, so definitely you will need to know the angle. This still remain the same. The angle will never change. So this 90, this is 0, and then this x-axis, this is y-axis. Okay, so then we go to the tangent. Okay, so yeah, let me just erase here lah. Okay, so the tangent is the same also. So if for the tangent, let's say y equals to tangent x. If I want to sketch the tangent graph quickly, the tangent graph will look like this. So if y equals to negative tangent x, that means whatever in the positive will go into negative, whatever in the negative will go into positive. So the graph will look like this. So this one is in the negative, you're going to go into positive, and then you go to the negative. And then this one in the negative will go into positive. Okay, this is for tangent. And the tangent modulus is kind of very easy to remember. Means everything go into positive. That means, same thing, you have something like this, You have a u like this, and then you have something like this. So same thing to negative modulus tangent graph. You have something look like this. For tangent graph, I always will draw these two lines, which is you will never touch it. That means you have something like this, and then you have a u look like this, will touch here definitely, and then your graph will actually look like this. Okay, this is something to do with negative and modulus. Okay, then we will go slightly deeper about sine cos tangent. Okay, if you understand about all the negative thing, all the modulus thing, okay, then we will go to a little bit further, which is something to do with periods, amplitudes, and how the graph actually going to move. Alright, I guess the video is quite long already. I'm sorry about that. Okay, so let me actually write the proper equation. Let's say I say y equals to a sine bx plus c. Okay, first one is whatever number in front of the sine, in front, at the front of the sine here, we call this one is amplitude. Alright, and then this one is actually something to do with period, and then actually it represents how many cycles it will have in one cycle, something like this lah. And then the last one c plus a certain number, and then you know this one basically is how many unit the graph actually you're going to shift. Alright, it can be positive, it can be negative. Alright, so let me give you some example. Let's say I sketch a quick one. Okay, y equals to 3 sine 2x first. Let's say. Okay, 3 is the amplitude. That means in this graph, just now, the standard one y equals to sine x. The graph actually will look like this, isn't it? Maximum is 1, minimum is -1, and then this one is 360. But then if this is 2x, something you have to remember is sine and cos, the whole angle here always equals to 360. That means because one cycle is 360, like I say sine and cos, one cycle is equal to 360. So I will do 360 because now you change already. X is your one cycle. Now your one cycle is 180. That means if I sketch the graph, I sketch one cycle. Now I will stop at 180 because this is 2x. That means in 360 itself, I should have 2 cycles. That means if I want to continue, I'm going to stop here at 360. That means now my 1x equals to 180. My 1x equals to 180. So therefore, 2x equals to 360. Okay, this is how we define actually 2x over here, which is the b value. So therefore, if the question asks about period, period means 1x, alright? Period is actually means 1x is 180 in this case. And what is the amplitude here? The amplitude here basically is mean, just now the maximum is 1, right? Amplitude means here. That means now here from 1 actually changed to 3 already. So your maximum will be 3. And your minimum just now, this is -1, isn't it? Become 3 unit also, so you will go to -3. Okay, this is so you have to know this is now 3 and this is now 3 also. Okay, this is what happens to amplitude. Amplitude basically will change the value over here. Okay, so if you understand about this diagram, let me tell you about C. Just now you actually you know what happens to amplitude and what happens to period. Okay, periods actually will change the angle on the x-axis. Okay, depend how many x you have for the angle. Okay, so if you understand about this one, then let me move on slightly further. Then I can explain in the sine, cos, and tangent thingy. Okay, if you understand about this one, I will use back the same equation because I just try not to confuse you. 3 sine 2x plus 2. Let's say. Okay, what happens if plus 2? So this is how I'm going to sketch. This is my x-axis. This is my y-axis. It's plus 2. The first thing I will do is I will draw the line 2 first. The y equals to 2. This line is y equals to 2. 2. Okay, then I will use back the same thing. Because just now, I know my 3 is my amplitude, isn't it? So I will add 3 unit over here. That means 2 you add 3 unit, this is 5. Because you will need 3 unit here. And 3 unit here also. 2 you coming down 3 unit, this one will be -1. That means your graph actually will change a bit. This is how I say shift up 2 units. Because just now it's on the x-axis. So your graph basically for sine graph is look like this. Okay, my graph is not so perfect. However, yeah, this is what happened. Okay, imagine the y equals to 2 is your new x-axis. Is your new, oops, my bad. Okay, is your new x-axis. Just assume lah, of course it is not the new x-axis. That means you're going to label your angle based on the y equals to 2 this line. This one will be your 180 because this is 2x. This one no longer 360, it will be 180. And this one will be your 90. And then divide half again. Over here, this one will be your 45. And this one will be your 135. Mean it's the half again. Mean keep on plus 45 degree plus 45 degree. And you will find out I label all my value. I label all my angle on the x-axis itself. That means for just now, the graph actually is somewhere here. This is y equals to 3 sine 2x. So when I plus 2, that means actually he increased 2 units for every single point. He keep on increase 2 units. For every single one, he plus 2. So this is the meaning when I say plus 2. That means the graph, the diagram, the sine graph actually shift up 2 units. Okay, it's -2, that means the graph going to come down 2 units. So this is the meaning when you see the plus 2 here. So whenever you have plus 2 or -2, so you just start from the line like that. Okay, so in order to make you understand, of course I will give you a lot of example to actually make you understand about that thing. So I'm going to erase all this. Okay, we're going to try on the cos graph. Because this is for MF, is somehow is quite important. Okay, so let's say y equals to a random one. Okay, 2 cos 3x minus 1. Okay, so we have this kind of equation. So first thing I will sketch my y-axis and then I will sketch my x-axis. Okay, this is 3x. I will solve this one first. 3x is equal to 360 because I want to find my periods. Period is 1x equals to 120. That means later my one cycle will stop at 120. Okay, that means 360, I have 3 cycles on it. Okay, that means if 360, I have 1, 2, 3. 360. Okay, so basically you have 3 cycles in 360 because actually you will have you have 120 each. Okay, so yeah, this is what happens to 3x. Alright, I say whenever you see the -1, do the -1 first. Draw the line y equals to -1. Assume this is your new x-axis. Alright, new x-axis. Alright, then we'll do the same thing. My amplitude is 2 means what? It's going to, this is negative 1. It's going to move up 2 units here. And then go down 2 units also. So negative 1, you will go to 1. And negative 1 coming down 2 units, you go negative 3. Then I'll draw a dashed line for it. Just easier for me to sketch later. Okay, then this is my new x-axis. So if I sketch the thing, cos it start from here, it's going to passing through here, it's going to stop here. So same thing, I will label everything on the x-axis only. This is 120. Assume this is your new x-axis. So this one divide again, this one divide again, this one divide again. So 120, if 120 you divide it by 4 because it's 4 parts here, it's 30 degrees each. So that means this one will be 30 degrees, this one will be 60 degrees, this one will be 120 degrees. Oh, sorry, it's 90. What happened to my math? This is 90 degrees. Oops, okay. Yeah, I think something wrong with my stylus because it doesn't allow me to, oh, I think I accidentally changed the color. Okay, this is 90 degrees. Okay, so this is how we actually sketch the graph look like this. Actually, yeah, very important is this maximum minimum value. It will change based on your amplitudes. Okay, so let's say if I change my amplitudes to 5, let's say I do not love 2, you might think it's 2 easier. I change to 5. That means this one I will plus 5, I will minus 5. Plus 5 for negative 1, I plus 5 will become 4. For negative 1, I minus 5, I will get negative 6. The graph is still look like this. It won't change much. However, the angle itself will change a lot in your angle thingy. So you very depend on your exam actually, your exam question actually want you to sketch how many diagram. Yeah, so this is what is the meaning for the value in front of cos and what's the meaning for 3x and what is the meaning, which I will call it A, B, and C. And then just something extra, not all the time the equation will write until so nice and then you can easily recognize it. Sometimes the equation might look like this. This is 2 minus 3 and then sine half x. Yes, so you still need to understand this is your amplitude, which is negative 3, but the amplitude we never include the negative. The amplitude is still 3. Negative just means the graph will flip over, and then your period now is half. And then this one means you're going to shift 2 units, go up. Okay, so yeah, I think some of you might think this equation is very interesting. So yeah, so let's sketch about this equation, because I just want you to see what happened when it is half. Okay, so I will do the same thing. Sine half x equals to 360. So x is basically equals to 720. That means if the question only want you to draw until 360, then you draw half only. Okay, so same thing. I'm going to sketch the thing. And then 2, I will start drawing from 2 here. This is 2. Amplitude is 3. So that means I go into plus 3, which I go to 5, minus 3, I will go to negative 1. Oh, negative 1, sorry. Of course, if I have the ruler, I can draw much more nicer. Okay, and then this is sine. And the negative, just now I said negative, the positive will go to negative. So your graph will look like this. And then assume this is your new x-axis. So let me sketch. It's basically, it will look like this. It passing through my x-axis. It's going to stop here. It's not going to stop on the x-axis because this is your new x-axis. Alright, and then I will label here. Because my one cycle now is 720, so my 360 is only half. So if the exam asks you to draw until 360, you're going to draw this one, draw a U only. You're not going to continue like this. And then I divide half again. This one will be 540. And divide half again. This one will be 180. Okay, this is what happened if you have the negative and you have a half x here. And basically, everything is still the same. So before I end this video, I'm going to teach you about tangent. Because tangent actually is the same also, but then some students might think, sir, you already teach sine and cos, why don't you teach tangent? So yes, so of course I will explain about tangent. So let me erase this, and then I will explain about tangent. Let me scroll down a little bit, because I just want to erase everything. Okay, so it's for the tangent. Tangent normally, the amplitude, if you give you 3 tangent x, the amplitude doesn't mean much, because I say for tangent graph you do not have the maximum or minimum value. So if I do the tangent 3 tangent x, so what I will do is I will draw the things is exactly same, like the 3 is not there, because tangent you can go the value until million or until billion, depend on your calculator. Same thing, I will do 360, 180, 90 and 270. And just now I still remember I said tangent 45 equals to 1. So if 3 here, that means tangent 45 you will get 3, because it's very make sense one. Y equals to 3 tangent 45. Tangent 45 is equals to 1, right? So y equals to 3 multiple 1. So that's why you will get 3. I'm not saying tangent 45 is 3. It's because of the equation, you will get 3. So if 3 tangent x, what will happen is, if this is 3 tangent x, and the exam asks you to show, which is never coming out like this before, I will say this value is 3 here, and then this is 45. And then this value is 3 here, and then this is plus 45, which is 225. And then same thing, I will do the 3 thing at the bottom here. This is 135, which is negative 3. And then same thing over here, which is 315. Okay, this is what happens when there's 3 tangent x. But then for tangent, so far come out in exam, they will never give you the amplitude, because the amplitude for tangent, there's not much meaning. So the exam won't come out like this, so you no need to worry. But if you come out, so I do explain a little bit. Tangent, they love to give you something like this. Tangent 2x. Okay, this is one of the past year question actually. Okay, so tangent 2x, for tangent, actually, for tangent, the only, because I say sine and cos is equal to 360, but tangent is equal to 180. That means x means one cycle is at a 90 degree. What do I mean by one cycle? It's actually like this. When I say one cycle, is like one cycle. This is one cycle. It stop at 90 degree. So that means 180. Yes, that means 180 is going to happen 2 times. So the second time, this is the second cycle. It stop at 180. So if you want me to continue draw, of course I can. But then I will need to actually sketch this one longer, but there's not enough place for me to draw, but then I can try my best. Then this is, it will go like this. This is a third cycle. So plus 90 again, this is 270. And then you will continue to do like this, and then you will have something over here. And then of course you will need to label this one. This one is just is the midpoint between 0 to 90, which is 45, the line here. This is a midpoint between 90 to 180, which is 135. This is a midpoint between, I mean this line is the midpoint between these two, which is 225. Okay, yes, this is what happened to tangent 2x. Of course, in the exam, it's actually love to add the modulus for tangent. I'm not sure why. So if you add the modulus for tangent, it's actually quite simple. That means you erase everything at the bottom, you reflect. You erase everything at the bottom, you reflect. And erase everything at the bottom, you reflect. So yeah, definitely over here you will get something like this lah. Okay, yeah, this is what happens to the tangent graph. Of course, it still can plus 1. It still can plus 1, plus 2. It's exactly the same thing. So if it's plus 1, so you just start from the 1. Actually, if they want to plus 1 minus 2 for tangent graph, it's the same thing. So if only like this, actually it's quite simple. That's mean I will draw the 1 here, and then I will actually sketch from here since the modulus, so you get something like this. Yes. So yeah, this is 45. If the question asks you to sketch until 360, then you're going to have, okay, you're going to have one more u, because this over here is 180, and then you got another u, and then you're going to stop here. I mean, if the question asks you to sketch until 360 for 2x, and then you have the modulus, this one will be 360. Yeah, you just like calculate like this. Let's say I call this one 1, 2, 3, 4 equals to 180. 1, 2, 3, 4 equals to 360. Yeah, you can calculate like this. Plus 1 means this is 1, and this x-axis, and this is y-axis. Alright, I think I'm going to end this video here. I'm not sure anything I missed about the graph thing. Yeah, basically the graph things, even you understand what I'm saying, but you still need to practice yourself. Of course, in the MF, they love to change the degree in terms of pi, but that one I think is still okay. As long as you understand about the concept of pi, then everything will be very simple. But since I remember back, so before I end this video, let me teach you a little bit about the pi thingy. Okay. Since I want to teach you, I'm going to use some easier equation. So I do something easier a bit. Okay, let's say 3 sine 2x. Okay, and then I will say 0, x is 0 to 2 pi. And I ask you to sketch the graph like this. So the first thing is, I will do the same thing. Since there's no plus 1 plus 2, so I can start from 0. Okay. Then I will sketch my graph. Since 2x, they want until 2 pi. I know 2x equals to 2 pi. Because 2 pi, okay, pi equals to 180. 2 pi is 360. Sine and cos always equal to 360. So my x actually equals to pi. That means my 1 cycle will equals to 1 pi. So I will need to sketch 2 cycles. So I will sketch 1 cycle here, second cycle here. So my 1 cycle, let me change color. My 1 cycle here equals to pi. This one will be 2 pi. My maximum and minimum will be 3 because of the amplitude. Minimum will be -3. Okay, then now, how can you actually sketch this one? You just imagine, if your pi you divide into 4 parts, it's just pi over 4. Pi over 4 actually means 1 pi over 4. So the next one will be plus 1 pi plus pi over 4 again, so it will be 2 pi over 4. The next one will be plus pi over 4 again, it will be 3 pi over 4. The next one will be plus pi over 4, which is 4 pi over 4, which you call it pi. Okay, so this is what happened. I'm going to do, let me change color. This is pi over 4. And then this is another half, right? So it will be 2 pi over 4. This is another half, right? So this is 3 pi over 4. This is another half, right? This is pi over 4 pi over 4, which is pi. Then this one continue. 4 pi over 4 will be 5 pi over 4. And this continue, it will be 6 pi over 4. Keep on plus pi over 4 only. So this one will be 7 pi over 4. This one definitely 8 pi over 4, which is 2 pi. Because 8 pi over 4, you simplify, you get 2 pi. Okay, this is how I label in the radian. So over here, oops, I'm sorry. Over here, I just write x, and this is just y. Okay, so you just need to understand radian basically is just 1 pi is just equal to 180 degrees. All the concept is still the same. Yeah, of course you will need to know how to divide the thing. Sometimes the radian can go slightly difficult. Okay, since we teach about radian, I just go a little bit further because I just hope this video can cover as many things as possible. Okay, I just trying to think some things might seems a bit hard for you. Okay, let's say y equals to sine 3x. Yeah, because the amplitude, it doesn't matter. I can put a 7. For me, it doesn't matter because it just changed a little bit. Okay, now you have some problem. 3x will equals to 2 pi. X will equals to 2 pi over 3. Okay, so this one, you will need to very good in fraction. Actually, it's not too bad, but then, so from here, I will show you only 1 cycle. Of course, I can draw 3 cycle, mean continue draw 3 times. Okay, just draw 3 cycle. I seldom do such a crazy thing. Okay, 1 cycle, 2 cycle, 3 cycle. Okay, this is x. Okay, because over here radian, I just want to teach you about the sketch thingy. Of course, I know my maximum, I'm not going to draw, this is 7, and minimum is -7 because of the amplitudes. Okay, but then what I want you to teach is how to label it. Since I know this is 2 pi over 3, then this is another 2 pi over 3, you just use your calculator, 2 pi over 3 plus 2 pi over 3, which is 4 pi over 3. Then plus 2 pi over 3 again, you will get 6 pi over 3, which is 2 pi over here, 6 pi over 3. But how are you going to label here? Because you're going to divide 4, isn't it? So if you divide 4, you just assume if you're dividing 4, 2 pi over 3. 2 pi over 3, divide 4 actually mean multiple 1 over 4, isn't it? So you'll get 2 pi over 12. That means you will need to keep on plus 2 pi over 12. Alright, so if I label this one, of course 2 pi over 12, I can simplify it, become pi over 6 lah. Isn't it? So I will say this is pi over 6. Then I continue. This one will be 2 pi over 6. This one will be 3 pi over 6. Then you will find out this is 4 pi over 6 because they simplified already. Then I continue. This one will be 5 pi over 6. This one will be 6 pi over 6, which is pi. And then this one will continue. I will go to 7 pi over 6. And then this is 8 pi over 6. You see, actually, they simplified already. It's 8 pi over 6. You simplify, you get 4 pi over 3. Okay? Then this one will be 9 pi over 6. And then this is 10 pi over 6. And then this is 11 pi over 6. Then this is 12 pi over 6. And then you will get 2 pi. Okay? And then maximum will be 7. The minimum will be -7. Okay? The idea is actually the same. Just some students, when they see in terms of radian, they will get stuck. And then they just think that impossible for them to do in a radian. Okay, so yeah, I hope the whole video, the super long video here actually can give you some insight and understanding about the graph thingy, about trigo, from modern math to MF, from basic to advanced. I think this is cover almost everything. Of course, the graph thing can still go a little bit further. But then I think those graph is not going to come out in SPM. If I find out something is quite hard in the future, I might post another special video only for that part. Yeah. Okay, so I think I will end here. Anyways, thanks for watching. If you have any comment, just let me know on my YouTube or on my Facebook. Yes, if you like this video, please give me a thumb up because I spent very long time and I make it in the midnight. Yeah, now it actually is 4 AM. Yeah, I really hope you enjoy this video and I really hope you learn something from this video. Thanks for watching.